Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Bree. I am a transgender woman, and today we're talking about Creepshow 2, the sequel to the Stephen King horror anthology Creepshow. Now, I was a big fan of the first Creepshow, even though I only watched it like a month ago for the very first time. I really enjoyed it for the most part. There were a couple of bits that I was a little blah on. But overall, it was a fun movie. So I decided to watch Creepshow 2. And I have mixed feelings about Creepshow 2. It only has 3 stories instead of the, 4 or 5 of the first Creepshow. Too many stories in that first Creepshow. But, overall, the stories are better. There are only 3 stories, but in this instance, all 3 of them are hits. You don't have any duds in this film. Also, for the most part, again with a couple of exceptions, the special effects are a little bit better in this movie. For the most part. So, similar to Creepshow, where you had a comic book as the framing device, separating the individual stories, and a wraparound story that tied it all together. You have a return of the creep, which was the I guess narrator of the first film, but instead of the really awesome comic book panel transitions and, things, you have really shitty, low-budget 2D cell animation. Which, if you are familiar with my channel, you know I don't fucking like cartoons. And so, replacing the kick-ass comic book gimmick with a shitty-ass fucking Don Bluth fucking knockoff half-assed animated piece of shit transition hurts the film. But the trade-off is you get 3 better stories than you got in the first film. So whereas I liked the first film better because of the comic book transitions, I like the stories in the second film better. It feels unfair to me that they had to do the trade-off, because I would have loved this movie even more had they kept to the comic book theme of the first film. Also, the wraparound story is fucking boring. I'm not invested in the wraparound story at all. It's dumb. So, overall, I would say, I enjoyed Creepshow just a little bit more than Creepshow 2 as a whole. Creepshow 2 has better stories. I enjoyed. It's just brought down by a couple of things, but they're minor things, I guess. Although the animation is god awful in the animated segments. But that's neither here nor there. So, I enjoyed this movie enough. I still recommend this as a buy. I think you'll enjoy it enough to justify owning it in your collection and rewatching it from time to time. God, if there was some way to redo this movie, a la Star Wars Special Edition, where they just cut out the animated sequence and replace them with comic book transitions from the first movie, this would be a perfect fucking film. It just bums me out that they decided to go the low-budget animation route instead. Because, well, for one, it looks like garbage, and 2, I fucking hate cartoons. I'm not a huge fan of cartoons. I don't hate, literally every cartoon ever made, but I'm not a fan of animation as an art form. So when I see a shitty low budget animated sequence in the middle of a live action movie, I'm gonna fucking tap out.